With Game Week 7 coming to an end, the international break is upon us once again. We've got 3 free transfers coming into the break and we've lots to digest from Game Week 7. First off, regarding who the first choice Arsenal penalty taker actually is, and with Liverpool up next for Bruno Fernandes and some tricky fixtures thereafter, we've got a decision to make on whether or not he'll leave the team. We'll also have an update on the injury to Cole Palmer and when he's looking likely to return to the pitch. So in today's video, I'm going to show you my transfer plans ahead of the Game Week 8 deadline, and as you can tell by the title, the bench boost is active. We've lots to discuss. Let's get into the video. What is up everyone, how's it going? FPL Era here and welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. 70 likes on the video is the goal as always, and we're so close to hitting 8k subs, so if you are watching and you haven't subscribed, head on down there, click subscribe and support the channel and help me in reaching that milestone. We're just recording as the final whistle gone in the Man City and Brentford game. Erling Haaland coming away with the only goal of that game, and we have the captaincy on him, and that means we've now got 7 captaincy returns in the first 7 game weeks, so let's try and keep this streak going. If you don't really care how we got on in Game Week 7, here's your warning to skip on towards the end of the video, but if you do care, here's how we got on this week. 69 points for the game week, was an okay game week. We managed a small red arrow, we've dropped 23k places, and we're now sitting at 989k overall, so it's still good to be inside the top 1 million just before the international break. So going through my starting 11, we're going to start off with the start of the game week. Semenyo coming away with 2 goals and an assist on Friday night for a monster 18-point return. A few game of the year, man, fair play. What a return that was. I know a few people in my Patreon group did this, so that was some return from them, and it was a flying start to the game week. On to Saturday's games, with nobody in the early kickoff, so fast forward to the 3 o'clock games. I was glad to see Arsenal coming away with a clean sheet, with my double Arsenal defence combining for 15 points. And I was also glad to see Gabriel coming away with some DEFCON points also. It wasn't to be for Gyökeres as he didn't manage to get a return. Arsenal did get a penalty in this game, and I was expecting Gyökeres to step up and take this penalty, only for Saka to take the ball off him on his 200th appearance and slot the ball into the back of the net. We're still not sure who the first choice penalty taker is going to be for Arsenal, but I brought Gyökeres into my wildcard on the basis he was first choice penalty taker, so it's definitely very frustrating to see Saka step up and slot it away instead of Gyökeres, and he probably should have scored in that game. The rollercoaster of emotions owning Bruno Fernandes continued once again this week as he blanked at home to Sunderland, but he did hit the bar in this game, so he was rather unfortunate not to come away with an attacking return, and he also finished on 11 DEFCONs, 1 off an additional 2 points, but that pretty much sums up owning Bruno this season. On to the half-5 game, Virgil van Dijk and João Pedro drew a blank each in this game, and of course it was Caicedo that came away with the returns with him first sub on my bench. He was meant to save this goal for the bench boost in Game Week 8, and what a goal it was, but it was a close call between playing him or João Pedro. I went with starting the striker and I stand by this decision. It was just unfortunate how the events turned out. Going Van Dijk on my wildcard last week has probably been a mistake, as it was decided between him, Tarkowski and Vardiol. Tarkowski came away with DEFCON and a bonus point today to come away with 5 points, and Vardiol picked up an assist away to Brentford to come away with a monster 12-point return, so far it's been the wrong decision. I was glad to see Ndiaye score from the spot, and my only player involved in the 2 o'clock games today. He should have came away with another attacking return in the last minute when he set up Beto, only for Beto to be denied by a great save from Henderson, but at least he got a bonus point in the end to come away with a 7-pointer. Reinders was denied by a great save by Kelleher also in that late game on Sunday, and I was glad to see Haaland get his return, but he missed out on 3 bonus points, but I'll happily take the 2 for a 16-point return. All in all, 69 points of the week wasn't a bad score also. I'm glad to be inside the top 1 million before the international break. Let's move on now and have a look at my transfer plans ahead of Game Week 8. So here's how my team is currently shaping up ahead of the Game Week 8 deadline without any moves made just yet. I have 3 free transfers available, but as you can see the bench boost is active and that's our main focus this week. We're going to start off with the bench boost then, so Esteve and Dubravka at home to Leeds, Caicedo away to Nottingham Forest and Mukiele at home to Wolves. We've got some decent chance of potential returns on the bench boost with Burnley up against Leeds at home. They've only got 1 clean sheet this season that came against Sunderland in Game Week 2, and they're up against another promoted team in Game Week 8. So if we got that clean sheet from Esteve and Dubravka, what a beautiful return that would be. If Burnley don't get that clean sheet, I'll be content with Dubravka coming away with a few save points and Esteve hitting DEFCON 3 times this season. That Leeds game is probably a game you can get some DEFCON returns. Moving on to Caicedo in the early kickoff against Nottingham Forest. He's hit DEFCON 4 out of 7 times this season, and he also just missed out on DEFCON on 2 occasions, coming away with 11 returns on the DEFCON. So that Nottingham Forest game is probably a game where Caicedo can get some DEFCON returns. He probably uses luck in that Liverpool game getting that attacking return, so I'm not that fussed if he doesn't get an attacking return. But coming away with DEFCON in that game, I'll be happy with 4 or 5 points from him in that early kick-off. Finishing off with Ukulele on the bench boost. Sunderland at home to Wolves. Sunderland are looking solid in defence. Fair enough, United come away with 2 goals at the weekend, but Ukulele managed DEFCON points in that game. He got DEFCON on 4 occasions out of 5, so I'm confident he can get some DEFCON returns in that game. We're pretty much relying on some DEFCON returns on that bench boost, but there definitely is a chance Burnley and Sunderland can get a clean sheet in those games, and if they would, what a return that would be on the bench boost. As long as they get double-digit returns on the bench boost, I'll be happy with that. Looking at the starting 11 then, we've got some question marks around Gyökeres and Bruno Fernandes, so let's move on and have a look at my transfer plans ahead of the Game Week 8 deadline. So looking at my transfer plans ahead of Game Week 8, I have 3 free transfers to use. I'm probably looking to use 2 of them, and we're going to start off with the conundrum around Gyökeres. Back in August, Mikel Arteta confirmed that Gyökeres was the best penalty taker in the club, and from this the FPL community, and myself included to be fair, assumed that Gyökeres was going to be first choice penalty taker for Arsenal. Fast forward to the West Ham game yesterday, Arsenal get a penalty, Saka takes the ball off Gyökeres, slots it home, and after the game, Saka indicates that he's still first choice penalty taker, and it's going to be a decision that has to be made inside the club. So from this, Gyökeres priced at 9 million in the game. With the fact he isn't guaranteed to be first choice penalty taker, he's definitely not worth that 9 million price tag, so I'll be looking to ship him out of the team. And I'm looking towards Jared Bowen of West Ham, with West Ham up against 4 leaky defences in their next 5 games, with them facing Brentford, Leeds, Burnley and Bournemouth over the next 5. 3 goals for Bowen all season, and scoring 2 goals in his last 3 games with him up against difficult defences, scoring against Crystal Palace and Everton. Fair enough, he had a quiet game against Arsenal at the weekend, but with some favourable fixtures of West Ham, he's my main target as a Gyökeres replacement. It does feel like 2 transfers wasted from the wildcard a couple of weeks ago, as I brought in Gyökeres, assuming he was going to be on penalties. That Saka news has probably thrown a spanner in the works, but we have to rectify this, and Gyökeres is going to leave the team with that news. With Gyökeres looking very likely to leave the team this week, it then means we'll have an open spot available for a third Arsenal player, and from this our focus switches towards bringing Bukayo Saka into the team. With Bruno Fernandes up against Liverpool in Game Week 8, it's probably the sensible time to take Bruno out and use the money to bring Saka in with a decent run of fixtures for Arsenal, especially eyeing up those fixtures against Burnley and Sunderland, and also a potential captaincy for Saka in Game Week 11 when Arsenal face Sunderland and Haaland is up against Liverpool. It's been a roller coaster owning Bruno Fernandes so far this season. 2 penalty misses, a crossbar hit against Sunderland at the weekend, but that 97-minute winner against Burnley in Game Week 3 when I had him on the captaincy is probably the highlight of my season so far. So even though it's been up and down with Bruno all season, I'll be sad to see him go, but I have to bring Saka in with that fixture run for Arsenal, and especially with the news that he's meant to be first choice penalty taker now. Regarding these transfers, I won't be making any moves until after the international games take place, and we are still waiting for an update regarding Cole Palmer's fitness. But if you did watch that Liverpool game, once the final whistle went and the Chelsea players were celebrating, one of the Chelsea players jumped into Cole Palmer and he went straight for his groin, so I don't think he's going to be back on the pitch anytime soon, but I'll be keeping a close eye on his fitness with that Sunderland game in Game Week 9. But we do have João Pedro in the team, and João Pedro will be getting a nice rest between Game Week 8 and Game Week 9 with him suspended for the Champions League game, so I'll be eyeing up for him for the captaincy in Game Week 9 for that Sunderland game. If you've made it to the end of this video, please give it a like, drop a comment below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. 70 likes on this video is the goal, and we're so close to hitting 8k subs, so if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, head on down there, click subscribe and support the channel and help me in hitting that milestone. We'll see you all after the international break. Hold your transfers for now and wait until after these games are finished. Thanks for watching, we'll see you in the next video.